Welcome to the MCCS Marina at Kaneohe Bay. This is a video to help you learn how to use some of our power boats, like our 10-passenger pontoon boats or our 6-passenger whalers. Please remember that it's against federal regulations to have alcohol on any of our marina boats.
Come on, man, let's go party! Yeah! Party. No beer.
Please also remember that we'd like you to treat these boats like they're your own. They are for your use, and we'd like you to treat them with lots of respect. So for that reason, please don't tie them together if your party's larger than 10, which we call rafting, and can seriously damage the boats. Please also remember when you return, it's important to clean the boat up so that the next group that goes out can have a nice boat to use. This is one of our 10-passenger pontoon boats. The number of passengers is determined by the marina. In this compartment, I have 10 adult life jackets. I also have one throwable cushion, flares, which you shouldn't have to use, especially during the day, and fire extinguisher. So there's most of your safety equipment in here. If you have a child that's 13 years of age or under, they need to get a life jacket to wear. Rather than wear these adult jackets, up on the dock, we have a selection of life jackets of different sizes for the children to wear. Please make sure they get the correct size. Children tend to grab them too large. So make sure. And if you can't find the right size jacket, we have more inside, so just ask us. Back here are your main controls. The first thing you want to check before you go anywhere is your gas. Some of our gas gauges no longer work. This boat doesn't have a gas gauge on the console, but has it on the tank. So if you look at the top of the tank and it says full, the circle is full, a little arrow is lined up on it, then your tank is full. If you look from the side, you can see the level of the gas. If this tank is more than half full, that's plenty of gas to go out to the sandbar and back with a full load of passengers. Over here are your other controls. The ignition is here with the key. Your shift lever is here. Please notice that neutral is not perpendicular to the water. That's the main mistake people make. You have to learn to find neutral. It can be very exciting around the dock when you return if you haven't figured out where neutral is. One of our main trouble calls that we get from the sandbar is that the boat won't start. And the main reason it won't start is because people haven't put the boat into neutral. People haven't put the boat into neutral. Now when you come out to rent your boat, the boat has been warmed up. So you should be able to walk in and just turn the key on and the engine will start. If you've been out at the sandbar for a couple hours and the engine is cooled, you should be able to turn the key. But if that's not enough, if you push the key in, that's the choke. So you can push it in once, when try to start it. You can push it in a second time. And try to start it, but if you always push it in, you'll flood the engine. So only try that twice. If it's still a rough start, most of our 10-passenger boats have a warm-up lever. This one, I depress the side of the shift lever, push it forward, takes it out of gear, and allows the engine to rev up when you turn the key. And that allows it to start. Then when I return back to neutral, the gears lock and I can then drive. Now, when I turn the key on, there's a series of lights. There's a no oil, a hot, a check engine, and a low oil. Those lights will come on and go off, and that's a good thing. If any of them stay on when you're here at the dock, please tell us. If you're out there driving around and the no oil or the hot light comes on, you just found a nice place to anchor. Please anchor, give us a call, and we'll come out to assist you. If you're out there returning to the marina and you see the check engine or the low oil light come on, give us a call. We'll ask you to continue heading back and you should be okay. But if you're on your way out, you need to call us and come back, and we need to handle that situation. On weekends, we try to reserve one extra boat. So if for some reason you have a mechanical problem, we just switch your passengers to a new boat and you don't lose your day on the bay. All right? The other important thing to remember is if at any time anyone gets near your prop and you're concerned about them being hit, you turn off the key. When you turn off the key, that freezes the prop and no one will be injured. If you only go back into neutral, then the prop still spins and someone could be hurt by the prop. All right? So that's how to start your boat. So again, I just turn the key. I hear the buzzer, but it goes off, so I'm good. My engine is on. And now, if everybody's aboard, I can untie my lines and leave the dock. Trade winds blow in this direction, so I'm going to untie my stern line first. Then, untie your bow line. Make sure it's on board. In this case, I'm going to turn my wheel away from the dock and put it in reverse. Please remember, wherever our boats are, we want you to back out. These slips on the end, it's fairly easy, but even if you have a slip way inside, back out of your slip and back all the way out of the fairway till you get out into the open area. It's when people try to turn around in this area that they run into others. Put the engine in neutral, pause for 3 to 5 seconds, then slowly accelerate forward. Have oncoming boat traffic, just like on any American roadway, you want to try to pass to the right. But because there's no lines on a road at sea, we don't want to head directly at them. We always want to make a slight change in course so they know that we've seen them and will pass by. Now that I've cleared the no wake buoy, I can accelerate. I want to accelerate slowly. Push the throttle forward. Start to accelerate. Until you reach your top speed. You need to do the opposite. You got to slowly bring your accelerator back to slow down. Okay, behind me you'll see a buoy. That buoy says shallow area. That shows the edge of the reef. And then if you look, you'll see behind it some lighter color. The lighter color is the sand flat behind the reef edge. Typically in some lighting, you only see the sand part, you don't see the coral. So you got to make sure you know where the edge of the reef is. In Kaneohe Bay, the reefs are marked by whoever lives in the area and is tired of running aground. They stick a post in the reef. You never want to assume that marker's on the very edge. In Kaneohe Bay, whenever you get near land, you're going to come across a fringing reef. A fringing reef grows out from the shore. So whenever you're near shore, look for markers in the area that mark the edge of the reef. And always give those markers a good 50 feet to be sure you're not going to run aground. The lagoon depth of Kaneohe Bay is about 30 feet. The reef depth is about 2. So it doesn't suddenly just look like it's getting shallow, it suddenly gets very shallow. So you have to rely on the markers. If you look off our right, you'll see a big white buoy. That's a restricted water mark. You're not supposed to go between that mark and shore. If you look further down, there's a second one, and then there's actually a third behind it. Marks the perimeter of the base. The other two especially are right off the flight line. You have to make sure that you don't go between those and shore. Still on our right, there's a little yellow buoy out there between us and Coconut Island. And you can also see a couple inflatable orange buoys that are set up. Now the yellow marks are from Kaneohe Yacht Club. They're racing marks for sailboats. And they often will use inflatable orange marks. Now they're in deep water, but if there's a bunch of sailboats going around them, you've got to give them some room and go around the racing fleet. Up there, that white buoy is the third restricted water mark. And then here closer to us is Sea Mark, one of the Yacht Club racing buoys. And then if you look beyond it, dead ahead, you'll see a big green reef marker. That's the entrance to the main ship channel for us as we leave the marina. That's where we're headed. By staying outside of the base in Sea Mark, I have a nice entrance to the main ship channel. And that's our next destination. If you look ahead of us, you'll see a green and a red marker. That's confusing to people, but what it is an intersection of channel markers. The marker that we want to be in is dead ahead of us. Look ahead and you'll see 21 way up there. That's the channel we want to stay in. If you look out to open ocean this way, you'll see another channel. That's called the Sampan Channel. It's a shallow channel about 8 feet deep. That's where the fishing boats can go out and exit the bay as well as enter. However, notice the water here is rougher. There's no barrier reef out here like there is for the rest of the bay. So as you go out, you're in open ocean. Our rental boats need to stay in the bay for safety. So we're not allowed to use the Sampan Channel or go offshore. We say if you want to go offshore, it's BYOB, buy your own boat, all right? Again, the rental boats, this is our channel. We're gonna follow that sailboat out to the green marker. That reef marker there marks a circular reef called a patch reef. There's about 53 circular patch reefs in the bay. So again, give any reef marker a good 50 feet. A good 50 feet. Reef marker 21. This is where we're going to leave the main ship channel and make a right turn and head for the sandbar. If you look out there, you'll see a bunch of boats anchored on the sandbar. The problem is if you head directly for those boats, you may run across 2 patch reefs on the way out. So what you want to do is when you get to 21, head directly for where the land ends at Kualoa Point. So head for Kualoa Point, and then those patch reefs will end up on your left side as you go out. On shore there, you'll see Hei'ikea State Pier. Hei'ikea is a state facility, but it's off limits to marina boats. Your port is the marina. You don't get to visit other yacht clubs or other areas. The one time that you could go into Hei'ikea is if you had a medical emergency. If you were out here and you needed to get to shore to see an ambulance, then you could go into Hei'ikea. You don't have to travel all the way back to the marina. Please remember though, if you have a mechanical problem, what we want you to do is anchor the boat, turn off and raise the engine, and give us a call, and we'll come out to assist you. Okay, ahead of us you'll see a slow no-wake buoy. We're about to approach the sandbar. The sandbar is a no-wake zone. On a weekend there can be 30 to 40 boats anchored close to each other, and you don't want to drive up and make a big wake and make them bang together. People won't be as welcoming. If you look ahead, you'll see a couple boats anchored at the sandbar. You can see they've got their bow in shallow water, but they've kept their boat in deep water. That's the ideal way to anchor. You also want to anchor such that the wind is pushing you away from what you're anchored on. I also like to stay close to this no-wake buoy on my way to the sandbar, because over here on our left side, you'll see a small circular reef. That's the third patch reef on the way out to the sandbar. And by staying close to the no-wake buoy, I don't have to worry about it. So now we'll continue out to the sandbar, but we'll have to keep our speed slow. You want to go directly into the wind. You need to get close enough so someone can step off into the shallow water and run the anchor up. You can see how quickly the water gets shallow here, but you got to make sure you get your anchor up on top or it'll pull off. So what we'd like you to do is pull up, get your bow over the edge of the shallows, put my boat into neutral, go forward, grab the anchor, then actually would step off the bow and run it up and place it. Once it's secure and you know you're anchored, then you can turn off your engine. Turn off your engine. We've got reef marker 25 now on our left because we're going home and it's green. You want to continue on. This is a good course. If you look ahead, you'll see the restricted water buoys way up there, or that little yellow marker, C mark. That's a good course and it'll keep you from running aground on this reef on our left side. But right now we're going to take a tour and go behind Coconut Island over here on this side. There's a big reef around Coconut Island, then there's another reef behind it. We're going to have to drive right down in between them to get around the backside of the island. So that's where our course will take us now. This is Moku'oloi, or Coconut Island. It's home of the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology. The laboratory has been here for more than 50 years, and they've been studying the reef flat around it for more than 50 years. So it's a marine preserve. You're not allowed to anchor, fish, or snorkel on the reef around Coconut Island. Marina boats are also not allowed to visit the island. If you do want to visit the island, they do 2 monthly tours. You can go to their website at HIMB for Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology and book one of their tours. Ahead of us now, you'll see a pen which has 3 dolphins and a pilot whale in it. They're used for acoustic research, but you're not allowed to visit them. If you look, there's a little white buoy off the front and the signs tell you to stay clear 150 feet. So you have to stay outside of that. Now, for some reason, when we travel around the island, our boats like to run aground on the shore side. That's where Lilipuna Pier is and where people access the island and take the shuttle boat across. But the pier is that long because that's how far the reef sticks out from shore. Whenever you get near shore in Kaneohe Bay, there's a fringing reef that sticks out, and you have to keep your eyes open for the markers. It's time to return to the marina. The key with docking is you don't want to go any faster than you want to hit anything. One of the main mistakes I see people make is they go too close to this nearby dock. So you got to go outside a little bit. Please remember, if someone is departing at this point, you have to give them room to come out. Okay, if I'm clear of the first dock, I'll make my turn. I want to go down the middle, maybe just to left to center. And that should give me enough room. One of the main mistakes people make is they wait too long to start their turn. So before you get to your slip, start to initiate your turn. Our attendants should be there at the dock to meet you. If you're going to come in at an unusual time and you want help, make sure you call ahead so someone can be out there. So I'm going to slow down, go into neutral, let the momentum of the boat carry me in. As I get close, if I need to, I can give it a little bit of reverse. And once the lines are tied, I can shut off my engine. Now it's time to make sure you collect all your gear and then give the boat a thorough cleaning so the next customers have a nice clean boat to use. We hope you had a nice trip. Thank you for coming. Hawaiian weather definitions. Warning. Issued when a threat is imminent or expected to occur within 24 hours or less. Actions for protection of life and property should begin immediately. Advisory. A textual or verbal message issued when hazardous weather or hydrologic conditions exist, are imminent, or are likely to occur. Advisories are issued for conditions that may cause major inconvenience and could lead to situations that threaten life or property. High wind warning. A National Weather Service bulletin issued when sustained winds of 40 miles per hour or greater are occurring or expected to persist for an hour or longer, or if winds of 58 miles per hour or greater are expected for any duration. Special marine warning. A warning of potentially hazardous weather conditions, usually of short duration, less than 2 hours, producing wind speeds of 34 knots or more, affecting areas included in a coastal waters forecast. Small craft advisory. An advisory for areas included in the Hawaiian coastal waters, forecast for sustained winds or frequent gusts from 20 to 33 knots inclusive, and or for seas of 10 feet or more, depending on wave period and direction. Frequent gusts are typically long-duration conditions, greater than 2 hours. Gale warning. A warning of sustained winds or frequent gusts from 34 to 47 knots, inclusive, predicted or occurring, not generated by a tropical cyclone. Storm warning. A warning of sustained winds or frequent gusts of 48 to 63 knots, inclusive, not generated by a tropical cyclone. Hurricane warning. A hurricane warning is issued when sustained winds of 64 knots or higher is expected within 24 hours or less. Special attention. No alcohol. No alcohol. No alcohol. No pets. Take care of our boats. You are responsible for any damage that occurs while the craft is in your possession.